Our French family friends came to visit us. It was summer, so we kept the bathroom windows open. We had a lush garden, and the occasional praying mantis would hop in. Their son came screaming that a religious man had come right into the bathroom while he was on the toilet. The entire house freaked out. Oh man, that was so funny. My Japanese teacher told me when she first came to Australia, she was told to bring a plate to a party, and she didn't understand it meant some food to share, so she literally brought just a plate. I remember reading somewhere that someone who had English as a second language was trying to describe a pony by calling it a compressed horse. When my friend's husband first got to America, he needed to use the bathroom and wandered around for a long time, but all he could find were restrooms in the airport. He didn't need to rest, he needed to go to the bathroom. Oh no. Immigrated to the US when I was 14. One time in the car with friends, we drove past a gentleman's club, and I said out loud, "Wow, it's really cool how there are clubs that teach people how to be proper gentlemen." Hey man, I think I used to think the same thing when I was really young. American man came into the shop I work in. After he made a purchase, I asked him if he wanted a bag, and he said, "I'm good." My mind was racing, but finally I had to throw in the towel and very quietly asked him, "Does that mean yes or no?" I've talked to a few American guys I've matched on a dating app. So there's this guy who said he's going to take a vacation in my country and said, when I go there and when we'll meet, I'll definitely give you a cream pie. I was so touched and replied, "Thank you, that's so sweet of you. I like having them for dinner." You better believe I was horrified to death after knowing what he meant. Oh, gross. When I first came to America at 9 years old, a kid asked, "Will you go out with me?" I had no idea what that meant, so I kept asking him, "Go out where?" until he gave up. This reminds me of when my Brazilian cousin was wondering how he could get across the country for cheap, and he was debating taking a train or a flight, and I told him to take a Greyhound, and he looked at me for a moment and then asked, "It's cheaper with the dog?" Oh man. Every time someone talks about a Greyhound bus, my right knee starts to hurt. Every time. I'm scarred for life, okay? Oh man, I took a trip from Texas to Mobile, Alabama on a Greyhound bus when I was like 16. And, I'm over 6 feet tall, and I don't know how tall I was when I was 16. I probably was around 6 feet at the time. And so my right knee, I had like the aisle seat, my right knee was not just up against the seat in front of me, my right knee was inside of the seat in front of me for the 24-hour, 20-something whatever ride. I think it was at least 24 hours I was on that bus, man. I don't know how I was able to walk. Oh my gosh. Ooh, it was awful. So every time anyone talks about Greyhound or I think about Greyhound, my right knee starts to ache. Oh man. At my first job here in the US as a Nigerian, whenever I needed help with something and went to my coworker, she would say, "Give me a minute." And then she'd come like 10 minutes later. In my mind, I would go, "Well, you lied." Took me a while to realize it was just a saying. I relate. Especially back before I was a Christian and God grew my patience. It drove me crazy when people would tell me, "Oh, I'll do it in this amount of time," and then they don't do it. I try to be accurate, and as Christians, we are supposed to be very careful about what we say and be precise, and we'll be judged for every idle word. So, I try to only say give me a minute when it is only going to be around a minute, hopefully. Otherwise, I do try to be more precise and say, "Oh, I think I'll be about 5 minutes, give or take," or something like that. I try to be careful about my speech. I'm Hispanic, and I had no idea what the phrase "I have a thing for you" meant. A guy at work said that to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, what is it?" Then he repeated himself slowly, like that would help, and I said, "Okay, what is it? What do you have for me?" And a coworker yelled in an exasperated tone, "He likes you! It means he likes you!" I was so mortified. I'm sure his infatuation died in that moment. Oh, man. Well, that is true. Like, usually guys will like you until they realize you're a real person who has imperfections or opinions and thoughts and feelings that maybe they don't agree with. And then, it's not really love. It's just infatuation that goes away very quickly once they realize you're a real person and not just a supermodel on a stick or something. My first day in school, someone asked me, "What up?" I looked up and said, "This rather dirty ceiling." "How would you like your steak?" I said, "Grilled." When somebody American asked me, "Hi, how are you?" for solid 3 weeks, I'd answer with the most extensive rundown of my entire week. I'm Mexican and went to my first kickback in high school when I was 16. Everyone kept asking me, "You straight, bro?" Replied yes a couple times, but after like the fourth time, I legit thought I was at a gay party. I told my cousins and they began making fun of me and reassuring me I was asked if I was okay. Oh, that's funny. Latina here. English is my second language. I didn't know that "can I get a rain check" means that they want to reschedule. I thought they wanted me to check the weather for them to see if it's going to rain. Oh, that's funny. Another thing that came to mind is preservatives in my country means condoms. So every time I saw a cereal box or something say "no preservatives," I thought that's weird. Why would there be cereals with condoms in it? Huh, I didn't know that. If you could meet anyone dead or alive, who would it be? Alive? Anyway, I thought these were funny.